Hi, good evening, everyone. So as usual, we'll read 3 times. We're going to learn tonight. Chapter 3, Being Mindful in Daily Life. Page 8. So chapter 3, okay, ready, start. Chapter 3, Being Mindful in Daily Life. Get up early and go to bed at a reasonable time. Knowing how time flies, we should treasure every day. When we get up, we should wash our face and brush our teeth. After using the toilet, we should always wash our hands. Our hat should be properly put on, clothing correctly buttoned, and socks and shoes neatly worn. We should put our clothes away in their proper places. We should not leave them lying around, for they will get dirty that way. It is more important that our clothes be neat and clean than fashionable and expensive. We should wear what is suitable and appropriate for our age and within our family's means. When eating and drinking, do not be fussy. Eat only the right amount. Do not overeat. When we are young, we should not drink alcohol. The behavior of those who are drunk is unsightly. Walk in an unhurried manner and always stand up straight. Whether greeting friends or elders, do so properly and with respect. Do not step on door sills or stand leaning on one leg. When sitting, do not sprawl or fidget. When entering a room, we should open the door quietly. When walking, we should be aware of our surroundings so as not to bump into anything. Hold empty containers just as carefully as if they were full. Enter empty rooms as if they were occupied. Avoid doing things in a hurry, since acting in haste will lead to many mistakes. Do not be afraid of a task that is difficult or become careless when a job is easy. Keep away from rowdy places. Do not be curious about things that are bad or unusual. When we are about to enter a house, we should ask if anyone is inside. As we enter, we should make ourselves heard. If someone asks who it is, we should say our name, not me, because such a reply is not clear. Before using something that belongs to another, we should ask for permission. If we do not ask, it is stealing. After we borrow from others, we should return the items on time. Later, if we have an urgent need, we will be able to easily borrow from them again. Good. How many of you are fully English educated? 1, 2, only 3? Malay? English? Yeah, Malay school. Oh, okay. So your Malay is better than English. Okay. That means most of you understand Chinese then. You understand Chinese, huh? Okay. Sometimes some of the things have to be spoken in Chinese. You feel a little bit more what we call it's more close to your heart. So we'll try to use some Chinese from time to time. Now today's topic in chapter 3 is called 谨, means discreet, careful, cautious. And there are two things that we have to be cautious about in terms of our behavior. One, and the one thing that we always make mistakes on is our speech, the way we say things. Okay? We always say things in a negative light. We don't seem to be able to say positive things, especially when it comes to people we are close with. Could be our spouse, could be our children, could be our workers. So when we speak, there are certain things that we have to be careful about. Number one is that can you deliver what you say? Can you walk your talk? Okay? Do you make promises that you cannot meet? Okay? And do you say things that are not necessary, which are not beneficial? So if every day you talk to your children and they don't listen to you, that means what you say is not very meaningful to them. If it's meaningful to them, they will listen. Okay? So some of the things that we have heard so far was like including they don't do homework. Always they don't do homework. Now, why won't children do homework? Do they like to be punished? They don't want to be punished. Like, why don't they like to do homework? One of the things that they may not contribute to they don't like to do homework is they don't understand the homework. And it could be a language problem. Language is very important because if they don't understand the questions being asked, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to solve it. So you must ask him whether they understand the homework or not. You know, instead of 你做了功课没有? See, I think there are basically two questions we ask our children. Every day we ask them these two questions. One of them is 你做了功课没有? 你做了功课没? One question. What is the second question? 有功課冇? Homework again, okay. Two questions, homework again, okay. The third question, 食咗飯未? Have you eaten? So it's between homework and eat. Your children's life is homework and eating. You never ask them, what homework are you doing? Okay, and how are you doing with the homework? Do you understand them? No, 中文你有没有做功課? Why are you not working on your homework? Why? Because he doesn't know how. He's not interested. He doesn't know how, doesn't understand. So you sit down with him and look. If he's writing, then it's okay, right? To look at it. But he's just staring at the books. That most probably means he doesn't understand, or she doesn't understand. So ask him. This question asks you, okay, what is the color of the tree? You know, can you identify them, like for instance? Okay, so instead of just accusing them, why not try to be understanding? Always be considerate instead of accusing somebody. Now, if your husband comes back home late one night, what is your first reaction? You feel like asking him, right? Why are you late? Isn't it? But don't you like to see him back? Do you like to see him come back? Of course you like to see him come back, right? So when you see him come back, so why do you scold him? You should feel very what? Very happy to see him come back. Okay? So there are things, I don't know, we seem to do the opposite of what we want. The more you love somebody, the more you offend that person. I don't know why, huh? Why, huh? It's a little kid, you know. They say that if they like the little girl with the ponytail or the pigtail, the little boy, okay, he will go and pull the pigtail, ting, 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 to get her attention. So instead of being nice to that little girl, he go and pull the pigtail until she go wow. So it's very ironic, isn't it? Remember the joke we talked about the lady? He told the lecturer, she said, I want my husband to be afraid of me. So the lecturer asked her, why would you want your husband to be afraid of you? Well, when he is afraid of me, then he won't run away. He is totally mine. Okay, I can control him because he's so afraid of me. He will follow everything I said. So the lecturer told her, well, if you want him to be scared of you, all you have to do is to change yourself into a ghost. He will be scared of you. Okay? 你要去驚你係嘛？你扮鬼咪得咯，你扮鬼就可以了嘛，他一定會怕你的。But then when he's so scared that the problem is instead of staying at home, what will he do? He run away because he's so scared of the ghost sitting at home. So instead of being able to control the person, we are actually what? Driving that person away. Instead of showing our love to our children, which I think you all love your children, right? Instead of showing your love, which you genuinely love your children, why did the love come out as scolding? It's like 我爱你，不过我一定要骂你，不骂你我就不爱你。There's something not right about this logic, huh? What? 打死疼骂死。打死疼骂死。That is a song, isn't it? That kind of song. No, don't believe in that kind of song. If we really love someone, show it. Okay, so what is love? Today's topic is that we have to be cautious. We're cautious of two frontiers. One is the way we speak, our speech, the way we speak, and the other one is our conduct, our behavior, our action. Okay? So, now in both terms, our conduct and our speech, to the people we are closer to, we seem to forget about cautious. We seem to forget about discretion. I will call careful. And one of the biggest, I think one of the factors here is the consideration. Right? It all boils down to what you call considerate. Are we considerate enough for other people's feelings? So let's take a look at the Chinese word love. I has two characters together, right? So and 心. So could means receive. It could mean receive. It could also means think about the other person's feelings. Okay, so you give. So on one hand is how you feel, how you receive. The other aspect is how do other people feel about it? 他的感受怎么样？我的感受怎么样？ Okay. The give of love and the receiving of love. And there's one important component of this is your heart. Is it sincerely from your heart? So these two words together, they form the word I. That means really use your heart to feel for the other person. 真的用你的心去感受别人的需要。You know, the needs of other people, the other person. So as we scold the other person, do we pause for 1 second? When I scold him, how would he feel? Am I helping him or am I helping her by scolding him? Very simply, 你做什么没有做功课？ Why did you not do your homework? Now, does these words help? Would he quickly go and do his homework after you said this? Right? If you hit it 30% of the time, it'll be good. He'll give you a lot of reasons. Okay? And when he gives you the reason, do you listen? What are those reasons? Okay? Let's use some real cases, okay? There's some real cases, huh? So let's say, Mr. Shi, huh? Mr. Su, you got a very, let's say your child, we'll listen to it. That's real cases, okay? We're going to discuss this, okay? And help to contribute if you have similar experience, okay? Now, your son is working on his homework. And you scold him. Have you ever scolded him for not doing his homework?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Remember why did you scold him in the first place?
Always dreaming when he's looking at the homework, as you say, so.
Dreaming, just staring at the book.
That's right.
Okay, so when you look at him dreaming at the book, what did you say?
Dreams again.
Dreams again. 又發夢啦，要發白日夢是嗎？ Then what does his face look like?
Big question mark looking at me lah.
Yeah, he was puzzled, right? Because he was dreaming, because he didn't know. He didn't know how, okay? So change your tactic a bit. When you see him dreaming again, okay, you'll be the 周公. You'll be the great Duke Zhou of the Zhou dynasty. You go and have a discussion with him. Are you having a problem? So instead of saying to the kid, why are you not doing your homework? Why are you staring at your homework? You dreaming again? Huh? You didn't listen to your teacher in school? You know, all these things came on your mind. Instead of saying those things, ask him or ask her, are you having a problem? Are you having a problem doing this homework? You know, can daddy help? Can mommy help? Instead of, 做么? You know, this sound is not so nice, isn't it? You know, you think, compare, instead of, change it, okay? Change it what? 你是不是看不懂这个问题啊? See? You see the tone? 你是不是看不懂啊? 你是不是不会做啊? 你真的是爱他吗？因为爱的感觉是什么？是温暖的。Love. Because we are so lack of love, we don't know how to give, we don't know how to feel, you know. We tend to intellectualize love. So we got to figure it out, okay? Put our this kind of always logical side on one side, but really feel for it, okay? Love. What is the feeling of love? The feeling is warm. 它爱是温暖的。它是温暖的。Now, okay, the weather is turning cold. 天气突然冷了哈。Then you want, because you are worried for your child, you are worried that he or she may catch a cold. So you want him to put on his jacket. So how do you say it? 穿着衣服吗? You love him? Of course you love him. You want him to wear the jacket. But the way it comes out is, 去穿衣服啦，这冷到了你，他闭眼你知道。You see, it's different from talking and barking. Were you barking or you talking? So when you talk like that, you are barking. You're not talking. Okay? So if you really want him to feel love, to feel warm, 你天气冷了，你多穿件衣服。The weather is turning cold. When you go and pick up something to wear something warmer, you want it? I can go and take it for you. You really soft and feel for that person. You should feel that warmth. Okay, so anytime you feel you are throwing bricks or coal fire or something, that is not warm, because the feeling for love should be warm. You feel comfortable with what people say. Okay? Now, your husband comes back. He got a very rough day. Okay? And you have spent half a day preparing for dinner. But he had a very rough day. He came home. He just slumped down, put on the television, put up his legs. You ask, "Hello, dear, time for dinner." Now you're concerned for his stomach, right? You really love him. You're concerned for his stomach. You spend a half a day just to make sure he can eat right? So, but you look at him. Hey, 做咩啊？唔食飯啊？喂，做乜嘢啊？ I look at you. Oh, he had a bad day, okay? So instead of, I spent a half day in the kitchen cooking nice things for you. This is what you treat me, how you treat me. Next time I'll never cook to with you again. See, one time and you say never. Because my sister, I give her a call. So she missed the call. She called me, and I missed the call, and she called me again. And then I didn't have time to return her call. Then I called her the next day. She knew it was me. She said, 做咩我打咁多次電話俾你都冇接嘅？我講你有打好多次咩？你打2次啫嘛，冇接啫咩？係啦，2次咋 ，2 miss call 嘛，好似好多次咁嘅。Well, exactly. Thank you very much. You only call me twice, and you feel like you have called me many times. Okay. So the same thing. You had a bad day, So we know that you spent half a day in the kitchen, but you don't need to make that promise. I'll never do this for you again. Right? So go there. Oh, you look at his face. Would you like to have a glass of water? Can I pour you a glass of water? And he will. You know how when men are in bad mood, they don't want to talk. So never mind, you just put a glass of water on the side, okay? And if he doesn't want to eat, and you say, okay, would you like me to warm the dinner? Tell me when you're ready. Is there something like that you share? And you say, no, I don't want. Just leave him alone a bit. And let him feel you really love him. You really care about him. Okay? Now, let's say you have been waiting the whole evening for him to come back, but he hasn't. Would you like him to come back? You love to see him come back, right? Or your children. Don't you love to see them come back? You love to. But when they come back, what is the first thing you say? 捨得返嚟啦？Now you want to come back? Why? Go and sleep outside lah. Don't want to come back. But actually your heart is saying what? I'm so happy to see. I'm so happy to see them back. But according to my way, my time, the way I like it. But if they don't, I don't want. I must scold them first. No. Love is warm. You make them feel warm. Okay? Likewise, man, if you love your wife or your children, you express a little bit. And don't be kind of like I'm a man, I don't need to express. I can prove by my action. What action? Right? Sometimes say a bit of praise for your wife, right? About the way she looks. Okay? But you say, yeah, we have been married for how many years already? What look? No more look lah. But look at the good side, the bright side, the nice side of your spouse. There must be something that you can praise her about. Okay? What can we praise our spouse about? Mr. Shu, because your wife is not here, so yeah, you can tell us. We don't want to start a war in the other family, so better not say here. But Mr. Shu, yes. What is a nice thing you can say to your wife?
Well, she she's a hardworking. She's a responsible lady, always prepare all the food, everything, cooking, and she's like cooking, and she always cook a lot of good things for us to eat. And then she's quite caring, but using a different way.
The type that we talk about.
Yes, you are right. So it's just that the things is good. I know that she is, but the way that don't know how to express the correct way of caring, loving, those type of ways. These are maybe a Chinese.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll explain to you why the Chinese way is like that. Okay. But yes, we will hear the older Chinese, maybe not the modern Chinese. They used to be, if somebody praise you, you tell your father, Mr. Lee, your daughter is so beautiful. What would your father say? No lah, very ugly. It's very ugly and not very beautiful, very ugly. So when your neighbor praise your brother, okay, Mr. Kang, your son is so brilliant, so clever. No, he's very stupid. Very stupid one. How could you say he's clever? But you know why they say that? You see, life was tough in China, so infant mortality was high. Okay? And in order not to invoke the jealousy of the demons and the devils, okay, they degrade their children, so that they won't feel jealous and take them away. Then secondly, they also don't want their children to grow up to be vain, arrogant. So every time somebody praises their children, they will say, no, they are not good. Okay? Now, of course, the gentry class, they say a little bit nicer. They will say, 客气客气，哪里，小儿还不是. It's a nice way of saying it. That means, no, you have praised my son a little bit too much. Actually, he has still a lot to learn. Now, that's a nice way of saying it, right? Instead of like, if we are not too educated, not well, groomed, you will say, 冇啦，好鬼蠢㗎，邊度叻? So you want to say the same goal, you want to reach the same goal, but you can use a very beautiful language. First of all, you say, 哎呀，真係多謝你讚我個女靚，但係咧我女其實都唔係講好靚嘅，仲有好多仲靚過佢㗎。Isn't that nice? And also your daughter feels what? My father actually praised me. My father actually thinks, I'm not bad. So that's a nicer way of handling it. Okay? So instead of scolding them, okay, why not we say things in a nice way to express our love, make them feel warm. Okay? Now let's say if they don't want to tidy up their room, is that a problem? Tidy up their room. That's a problem, isn't it? So you go in there, what's the first thing you say? Oh, Jen, you seem to have to respond. What's the first thing you say? You walk into the room, maybe 10, 15 times, 20 times already. What was your first reaction? Actually, right from the beginning, what was your reaction? Were you nice to them? No, right? Right from the beginning, you were what? Why didn't you tidy up your room? Right? Why didn't you tidy up your room? Right? Of course, when you are angry, you're what? Then it won't come out, the language will not be a nice language. So that is why don't use your emotion. 情绪. 不要用情绪. Anytime we speak with emotions, we're going to hurt other people. We hurt others and we hurt ourselves. So how could you not have emotion? But emotion for what? The emotion should come from actually your love for your children or your love for your spouse. not your love, your own concern. Because love is always what? Thinking for the other person. Love always think or feel for the other person. Why didn't he tidy up his room? Maybe nobody ever showed them how to tidy up their rooms. Maybe they didn't know the standards for tidying up a room. Maybe they don't know the need for tidying the rooms. Maybe the parents don't tidy up their rooms. There are a lot of things that can affect his behavior. Okay? So instead of too quick of accusing them, change the table around and look at why are they not doing what you want them to do. Okay? And if you say they are selfish, you think they are selfish, right? So we have to also ask ourselves, have we been acting selfishly in front of them? Have we done anything that was selfish in front of them? So we always have to reflect on ourselves, because actually love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. If you want to teach him to be not to be angry, it's not because we want them not to be angry. We got to let them know that what happens if they get angry, and what happens that anger will lead them to. So instead of just keeping quiet or let them vent out their anger, we need to talk to them. We need to sit down with them and deal with their anger. Why are you angry? And so both of you probably, right, both parents have to sit down and talk to them. Why are you always angry? Instead of just scold them. Because they don't know how. Maybe they are autistic. Autistic kids. That means they are 自闭症的. Or maybe they are overactive. Maybe they are dyslexia. Maybe they have some learning disabilities. Maybe they have some problems. Maybe they have some psychological hang-ups that we need to deal with. Okay? So it is not how much you want, but what can you help them to achieve? Not so much of what you want. And I remember Mrs. Kang sharing, she felt bad because she felt that the children were much more generous than herself. They could share the little sports car, where she felt, no, you shouldn't. So it's not much how much we want. No, we don't want to have any control whatsoever, because it is selfless. What is your objective? What is the best way to achieve that objective? And love is also what? Love is also that, believe it or not, you like to read good books. Why is love involves reading good books or hearing good teaching? Love. Love actually needs wisdom. Otherwise, you don't know how to love. Okay? You need some wisdom. You need the experience from other people teaching you how to love. So read about stories, that have shown people how to love. Like it was like a mother who encouraged her son to look at the bright side, to look at his strength, rather than look at his handicap. Okay? So you look at your child, what is his strength? Okay? Mrs. Kang, what do you think your son's strength is? He has many, so we just need one.
Thank you. The younger one, I think he loves the family member very, very much. And then compared to the brothers, he's very considerate. And then now after the 弟子规, I think he's considered very filial piety. Yeah.
Okay, 弟子规.
Yeah.
弟子规 is such a book that teach children to behave well, to teach the adults to learn how to love them. Right? So it involves wisdom. You need wisdom. You can read, others' experience. Because our experience is limited. So we need to learn from others what are their experience. I think during the sharing, it's very obvious that some of us have some very, very stubborn thinking that we cannot let go of. But we hear the sharing from other people, other parents who may be able to let go a little bit. Okay? So we talk about smiling a bit more. So did you succeed in smiling more in the last week? Huh? So we try every week a little bit, every week a little bit. Now we can lead our life in a very gloomy stage. Or we smile at everything. We think there's a solution to everything. When you see your enemy, who's your enemy? It could be your son, it could be your daughter. Because every day you are challenging each other. Okay? But instead of bulging your eyes and having high blood pressure and hypertension, why don't you just see and smile? Okay. Did you try it? Did you try that? Fail? Try again, it's okay. 1 week you fail, try again, another week you try, again, another week. I find it works for me so well. I saw that person and I tell myself, no, I'm not going to get mad because there's no point getting mad. It's not good for myself, not good for him. So I smile. I say, hello, so Mr. Blah, 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 blah. How are you today? And he was very surprised. Okay. So as you let go of your anger, because you really want people to feel warm, okay, so always what do you call 为他着想. And then and love is also 无私的. It is not something that you give, because there are certain conditions. I love you and therefore you must love me back. That's our attitude. I love you, I give you so much, therefore I want all this back. But these are conditional love. And especially for children, they are very dear to us. Okay? You are also very dear to them. So we must learn to love each other unconditionally. And if you want to be, and as you read books, right, you can come with books or good movies. Or good movies, and you can lead them and watch this together. Read the books together. Okay, learn from other people's experience. But unfortunately, the content of newspapers and media is not very helpful. It's not helpful. If you open the newspapers, you feel like the whole society is going to what? Would you dare to walk out? I was in the plane, opened the newspapers, and I saw 4 murders at gunpoint. And one of them even was ex-founder of a bank, a top bank in Malaysia. Right? So are you afraid that you walk out and you may be, shot down or something? Right? So all the media are not reporting, good news, and it seems like sensationalize a lot of things. Right? So you got to tell yourself, this world may be not perfect, but you can make your world perfect. You can make your children's world, a nice world to live in by giving each other love, by letting them feel warmth. Okay? And you can only do that if you are willing to take the first step. You will see the family change so much. Instead of putting blames, instead of expecting things from your spouse or from your children or from your boss, you start first. You start first. You make the first call. Telephone, or go over, make an appointment, go on at dinner or lunch, or just go and call them and say something. Okay? You will see the big difference. Okay? But you have to make the first move. Okay? So that's love. But from your face, I think you are still looking for love. We don't know what love is, huh? Robin, do you know what love is?
Love. Well, like you write down, it's very encompassing. Like toward my parents, I love my parents dearly. Well, I used to have a pet. I love my pet dearly. Then.
Thank you, Robin. You see, that's why we are so in an age where human communication, human touch is so lacking. We seem to be trapped in an age of information. There's just too much information and not enough heart. So you got to feel for how to love a person. Okay? Now, Mr. Lee knows how to love, huh? Mr. Lee, can you share with us about love? Each of you will have a chance, don't laugh, okay? It's always easy to ha ha ha, laugh at other people, but you'll get your turn. Okay, Mr. Lee.
Well, to me, love is something, is a feel. When whatever you do, you're meant to make the other person feel happy. When you see the happiness from the other side, and you internally will feel happy also. So there is something which are selfless, unselfish. Oh, I can only use this to describe, because it's something that you.
Yeah, I like this point. You know, 成全别人，是吗？爱是成全。Now, this is how to put it in English. So we do two simple Chinese. Okay? 成全. 成 means succeed, success, accomplished. Okay, so we put accomplished. 全 means whole. Okay, complete. So what is accomplished whole? What does that mean? That means 成全别人. You know you love when you can help the other person to fulfill himself, to fulfill what he's trying to do, you know, of a dream, of an ambition, of a work, of an ideal, of something. 你要成全他, make him feel whole, make him feel happy. Okay. And you said, okay, but he is deviating. Okay. Basically, how do you 成全 somebody who wants to go gambling or who wants to do bad things?
When we say that we accomplish, of course, it means something which is for the other party's goodness. If anything which is deviate, that means you are not actually loving. You are going to spoil or damage the person, right? But yet, when a person falls into that stage, when you show your love to them, first thing is you do not raise your anger. So much so that your love, you have turned into your own personal feel so sorry, sadness that you're unable to help. knowing that the person already deviated to the wrong path and unable to help. So it come to a stage, the other side will get the feel, not through your anger, but it's through our this sadness. But that sadness is very sincere through your heart, and it will cause the person to feel regret. Somebody who care for me so much and love me so much, and he or she will feel that I shouldn't continue to do the thing.
So what you say is that when we love, we don't calculate.
Yeah.
We don't calculate like, will he listen to me or will he feel for what I said to him? But you say it because you want to help him, not because you don't want to. Just because you want to get anything from him.
Yeah.
Right? So okay, thank you. Now, whenever we see things like that, right away we'll think about the bad things. When times were simpler, we will not think about a lot of bad things attached to it. 成全人家是很好的 to help the other person fulfill themselves. It's a very good kind of expression of love. But because we've got so many information nowadays, we somehow will feel that, wait a minute, what about if he, going the bad way, and if I do this, then wouldn't I be, helping him to do the bad things? But you haven't even started the first step. You're already calculating the worst step, the final step. Okay? So why do people sign prenuptial marriage agreement? Prenuptial agreement. Isn't that marriage used to be a wonderful thing? Like my friend said that, I'm going to make this wedding so meaningful for my son because he's going to marry, only once. Then I knock on wood, I say, I hope so. I really hope so. That's how we look at marriage nowadays. Okay? So you write a prenuptial agreement to say, in the event that you are getting a divorce, this is what you get. Okay? You write it this way because we attach so much information already. But we haven't even started to love, we're already thinking about how the love will end. So when we haven't even started doing this, or doing all this, we already start thinking, what if? What if he didn't listen to me? He take advantage of me. He uses me. He is not what you say he is. He is pretending. He's a hypocrite and all these bad things. But we haven't even started the first step. It's like you want to go and climb a mountain. Now you want to climb a mountain. What kind of mentality you should have? Any mountain climber here? No, you all hate to move. You all hate to exercise. We're going to change you, okay? Okay, now let's say we're going to exercise. We're going to climb a mountain. Okay, Jen? We're going to climb, I don't know, Kota Kinabalu. Okay, Mount Everest. Okay, we're going to climb Mount Everest. Okay, you're thinking, your call. We're going to climb Mount Everest. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, we may be lack of oxygen, we may kill ourselves, but it's going to be wonderful. What do you think? Yeah. No way. Right? Don't be too ambitious. Just Gasing Hill, okay? Not too much. We start the baby hill first. Okay, we go climb the hill. Where you go? Okay, so how do you feel?
I enjoy
You enjoy the climb, but you won't do it again. Leg pain. Okay, the leg get painful, but at least you try it. You make it up to the top. Okay? So let's try something higher now. What is higher than Gasing Hill? Okay? Something higher. Then we have all kinds of mental block already, isn't it? What are the mental blocks? Leg pain and more pain. What else? Dirty, swampy, mosquitoes, snakes, wild boars. What else? You see, you haven't even climbed, okay? You haven't climbed, you already got all these roadblocks set up. Let me Google first. I'll go and Google Gunung Tahan, everything about Gunung Tahan, and then, all this information you get wouldn't be as good as a good guide. A really experienced mountain guide will help you to go up. Safely up and safely down. But you say, no, I got GPS. I hold this everywhere I go. The problem with GPS in the mountain is what? Sometimes you don't have a line. And what about your battery is gone? What about because of the moist dampness, your battery doesn't work? Okay? You trust a good guide. He will take you up there and lead you down. But you don't have a lot of kind of like all these wonderful imaginary enemies in your head. Okay, I can even think of like what happened with tigers that come out, chimpanzee that throw nuts at me, maybe there'll be a gorilla suddenly eat me, and don't worry about too many things. Okay, you start your first step first. Okay, but we tend to think a lot of things. What? Warm? What warm? If too warm, they think I'm pampering them. They'll never grow up. I've got to be tough. But you have never even been warm before. What are you talking about? So learn to be warm first, okay? And see the result first. Okay? But you say, hey, teacher Song, I've been trying to warm, but it doesn't work. So how warm are you? I do exactly what you say. I go home and say, hello, you got a problem? What's your problem? You got a problem? Why you don't understand? Can I help you? No. This is artificially what? This is artificially warm. What has to come from your heart? You got to where's the love? You got to come from your heart. You genuinely love your kid. You want to help him. Okay? Or your wife, she's in a bad mood that day, and then it's just like a guy. He heard Mr. Chai's lecture. Mr. Chai told him, 你赞你的太太煮饭，她就做牛做马都愿意。Understand 啊？你讚佢煮飯啊，做牛做馬都願意啊 ，right or not, Robin? So he went home. His wife was cooking in the kitchen. He went in there and said, "Oh, hi, honey. You are such a great cook. I am so wonderful. Such a fortunate man to have such a wonderful wife who can cook so well. Thank you very much." And his wife turned around and said, "Oh, now only you know. Please come and help." Then the husband said, "Wait a minute, Mr. Chai didn't say that. Mr. Chai said that you 比做牛做马都愿意。他没有跟我说你要叫我帮忙的哦。Right? So another lady, she heard, 哎呀，做太太要温柔啊，要回去要服侍先生啊 ，must be nice to the husband. So I'm going to go back and do." So she was very nice, just like we were taught. 哎呀，你喝杯水啦，放旁边。But the husband read newspapers. 这没有看到的哈。Then she wiped the table. Everything she does, she did in front of him. 你没有看到啊？你没有看到啊？ So I think after 2 weeks or so, no response from the husband. So finally, she was wiping. The husband watching the television. 你没有看到啊？看到什么？我啊，天天啊 ，every day I go and mop and sweep and cook, and you didn't see ah. Then the husband put down the newspaper. 我看你能够撑多久？我也听蔡老师的，我就看你撑多久。You see, you play tricks. You think you are what? Smart. The other guy is smart than you because you are not sincerely from your heart. 睇你可以撐幾耐啊？You see, you fell in the trap. 哎呀，你咁都睇唔到啊！ So again, you know, if your child, after taking Miss Huang's lesson, the teacher Huang's lesson, must go back and praise my father and so on. So, Daddy, 你好. But then you know that, you are insincere. Then he will come back and tell Miss Huang, hey, teacher Huang, it doesn't work lah. My father has no response. 为什么？我跟人鞠躬都不踩我的，你怎么鞠躬？这样吗 ？Hello， 这样就鞠躬 ？No， 还有洗脚呢，洗脚啦，放在那边，这样洗。No， 不是这样的。You must from a filial heart， 你真的为什么要跟爸爸洗脚？你真的看到爸爸很辛苦，好，让热水跟爸爸洗脚，爸爸给你洗脚还要你还说你爸爸不会什么是赞叹你什么的 ？So sincerity is important. Don't do the forms, the formality of it. Okay, people will know. So after the first class we took from Mr. Chai was 2004. Then we went back to the society. I was working for Buddhist Society at that time. So I went back and we saw the secretary, and the first thing we did was, 师兄你好. And actually he was just sitting as usual, you know, he was just sitting and doing that. And then when he saw us bow, he did this. 你要什么? He asked me what did I want. He said, oh, you're so polite today. Why did he ask that? Because every time I opened my mouth to him, I was asking for something. Time to change the aircon, time to change the towel, time to complain to the distribution department they're not doing a good job, time for so and so and so and so. So when I say, 方师兄你好, yeah, it's got to be kidding. She wants something. I know she wants something. 你要什么? 没有什么. I just want to say hello and say bow to you. 哦，做么? What? It's like, you know, Mr. Chai said, you know, after you have stabbed somebody 15 years, you know, suddenly you say, oh, I love you. You think he'll believe it? You think your wife will believe it? Yeah, you have been scolding her for 15 years, and you say, oh, I love you because Mr. Chai has changed my life forever. Who is this Mr. Chai? Weirdo. Who is he? They won't believe it. So it takes your sincerity, it takes your time. Okay? So love must give people the warm feeling. Now this chapter is about how to do things. Okay, chapter 4 falls a lot about speech. Okay, we talk about love because we don't know, like when we speak, we express love the wrong way. Okay? And by doing things according to the chapter 3, it also actually helps us to nurture our feeling for love, because we start from small things. Okay. Now when we talk about love, it seems to be very abstract. And you may say, well, never ask a husband, do you love your wife? What do you expect him to say? Of course I do. But how do you show it? No need to show lah. Right or not? No need to show lah. She knows I love her. Do you know? See, they laugh so happily. I remember my friend, one Valentine, the only one Valentine, once upon a time, okay? And she told me, you know what? That day, my husband bought me a daisy. It wasn't even a rose because all the roses were sold out on that day. And most probably it was expensive, but he said it was sold out. He gave my friend just a daisy, a gok father. My friend smiled from here to here. So she said, I don't know why I was so happy. It was just one dinky flower, you know, and I could smile from here to here because he never did that. 从来没有给我花的，他那天竟然会给我花，我很感动啊。然后呢，还有吗？以后就没有了，就一次而已。That's why she remembers very well, you know. She kept telling me, 然后有一次我先生给一朵花我菊花，哎呦我真的很高兴啊，不过一次而已没有了。So then 这样呢，没有啦，老夫老妻不用了了。不老夫老妻， What do you mean 老夫老妻？ That's why when you now address each other, how do you address each other? You call each other's name? Or you call 喂？ then he calls you, Oi. Somehow you know, huh? Who is Oi, who is A? Then she'll come. 你又忘記買嗰個咩豉油啊？You all know each other, huh? Or they now call each other what? Daddy, mommy. Huh? Why? You just call daddy, mommy each other. I don't know. Maybe you call it honey or call the name is nicer. 老公 Yeah, old man. Okay, so think of some nice name to call the other person about, to show that you really, see this person as important. Always. You see what I mean? You haven't even started, you already think about it. You see what I mean? So you haven't started, already ended. There is a song, 还没有开始就结束。It's always, right? It's always. So don't worry, okay? Try it first.
Always sweet.
Yeah, always sweet is okay, isn't it? Yeah, it's such a lovely feeling, right? Wow, if your husband can be always sweet for you, wouldn't it be wonderful? It'd be wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you get numb because no more sincere already. Actually, always nice is not easy, Is that true or not? Yeah, it's always actually it's not easy to be always nice. If you can always be nice, you are a nice person.
Always nice.
Yes.
But no feelings to her,
No more feelings. Well, it depends, okay? Now, when we say feelings, what kind of feelings are we talking about? Yeah. You see, what makes a marriage work? Is that kind of physical love? Exactly. You care about her? You care about her, right? Do you feel responsible for her? Of course. That means what? You love her. Yes. So it doesn't mean you don't have feelings, you do. But the kind of feeling you're thinking about was the kind of feeling when we date, huh? So when we date, remember how silly you were when you dated, or when we dated, right? We were very silly, isn't it? We always try to be our nicest. Huh? We comb our hair, the way we dress, the way we talk. As soon as we see the person, we're very happy. Okay? And we can't see, if we don't see him, we feel very what? Very lost. That type of feeling. What you are saying is that you don't have that kind of feeling anymore because you feel very comfortable. You don't have to feel what? You may lose the other person. That's a very secure feeling, You don't want to marry to a wife who you're always afraid of losing, or always afraid of somebody will take her away. You don't want to marry a husband who you have to worry, do you? So it's not that you don't have feelings. You really don't have feelings? You have. If you don't have feelings, means what? You don't really care how she thinks. You don't really care how the children works. You just simply go out, do whatever you want. That's called uncaring. But you do care. That means you do love. One of the signs that you know you love is when you care. If you don't care, that means you don't love anymore. Like a woman, if she stopped nagging at you, that means she doesn't care anymore. So nagging is good. And she nags and nags and nags just because she wants you to have a better life, okay? But there are better ways of saying words. We don't need to say the same thing over and over. Okay? Say some things from your books. We are learning Christmas Carol recently. It's a book about, you remember Scrooge? Anybody read Christmas Carol? It's a very nice story about a Scrooge. Scrooge means a miser, 很吝啬的一个人. He doesn't like to spend. He hopes that all the losers in the world could just die so that we can get rid of the surplus population. Okay? But then through the three ghosts of past, ghosts of Christmas past, ghosts of Christmas present, ghosts of Christmas future, okay, help him to realize that generosity will help him to have a better life. Okay? So when you read stories like that, you read the English words, the way they describe things, the way they talk, you can actually pick up some very good, nice way of talking. 那中文书有没有好的？更多啦。中文书太多好的，对吧？你学他们讲话嘛。You say I cannot read Chinese, but you can understand a little bit of like audio. You can listen to a lot of good audios, like lectures from Mr. Chai. Right? And for those of you who are Buddhists, you can listen to Master Ching Kong. Or Christian, you can listen to your pastor. They all have very good language skill. It doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. We all have feelings. Right? 没有 feeling 那个人就讲话是怎么讲的呢？ No, we all have feelings. Okay? It's just that it's not that what we call the feelings that cause your heart to pump at 147 per second type of thing. Okay? You know how when you see the one you're interested, remember how your heart pumps? You don't want to have that feeling every day now, do you? You can't keep up with that. Your what? Yeah, exactly. You talk about the romantic feelings, okay? But nobody can keep up with that romantic feeling, can you? That romantic feeling is when she calls you, honey, can you go out and buy something for me? What time is it? At night. Would you? Yes, you would. In order to show that you love her. So that kind of thing, because you were kind of what? Dating each other. But you can't keep up with that kind of feelings all your life. Okay? But it doesn't mean that you don't love the other person. As long as you care for the other person, that means you still love the other person. But it's not that physical kind of attraction. Right? Actually, according to Chinese, the traditional Chinese way, after a while, you know, this marital commitment, you go beyond physical attachment. It's more spiritual, especially after having children. Now, we are appalled at, like, if you say your couples do not stay on the same bed, right? But you know what? The traditional Chinese, yeah, they don't necessarily stay on the same bed. After the children of a certain age and so on, they decide to, what? They can sleep on separate bed, even separate rooms. 养生啊. You know 养生? You live a longer life. Okay, you have less of those physical sensuality. Now, the traditional Chinese, they put a lot of emphasis on that if they really know 养生之道. And the old medicine book, it appears that man can easily live up to 120 years old. That is the Taoist, the cultivation of the Taoist. They try to get rid of this physical sensuality altogether if they can. Because if you go according to the cultivation of your purity of mind, with no desire of those attachments, you can easily live up to 120 years old. If that's the average lifespan. Okay? But now because we have desires, so we have desires, and that actually is a big attrition on our bodies. And you can take away some vitality and some life from our body. Okay? It's like Confucius, he can leave his wife for 15 years, okay, and go wandering around with his students to pursue ideas, to pursue careers, to study and tour at the same time. Okay? So love, at some point, it goes beyond just romantic. So marriage takes more than love to keep. Okay? But anyone who still have this fantasy about, this romantic attachment, a lot of times they are the ones who have disappointments because they feel that it should keep up. You should keep up with this, this very, what we call, not over-caring, but it's that everything you have to, the other person can control all your emotions. That's what happens when we date. He or she can control your emotion. Okay? I know it must be once upon a time for you already. You don't know how that feel anymore. Right? once upon a time, when your Prince Charming arrives and you feel really, what? Happy. Remember those happy days? Remember? Remember when you saw your wife, your girlfriend at that time, you know how happy you were? Right? So, remember those are the days, when you see them, but more of partly physical attraction, partly because of some, we say karmic attraction, but it's your attraction towards that person, very physically or spiritually, but more physically at times. Okay? But after you get married, your commitment, it becomes more and more spiritual. Spiritual means in bad times or good times, you are always there for the other person. It doesn't have to be expressed in a very close kind of like what we call the physical love, okay? But it's more the security that you give to the other person. You know that other person will be there when you need them. Okay, they will never desert you or leave you or be dishonest, with you. Even though they are not always say, oh, I love you, honey, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Right? It's easy to say, I love you in English, right? That's just, I love you, I love you, I love you. But say that in Chinese. Try to say it in Chinese. What does it sound like? It's different, isn't it? 我爱你. It sounds heavier. It sounds like commitment. Because of the 自爱嘛，自爱说你要感受到对方的感受，你要能够给他成全他，你要成全他的这些梦想，成全他做好事，常常呢要为对方着想，所以我爱你，那感觉不一样的。But love. Every time we think of love, we think about the heart. You just draw one heart. But what does a heart mean? That heart becomes a bleeding heart after a while. My heart is bleeding because I don't get the feelings. Okay, so this kind of love is more like after you get committed, you get married. It's a spiritual love. Right? But having said that, from time to time, do express a little bit of. Bring back a little bit of the feeling back for most people nowadays. Okay, so what does that mean? I don't know, maybe a pat on the shoulder, maybe holding hands. I know traditional Chinese, they don't hold hands. So like my father said, no, as soon as we step out of the room, cannot hold hands. My father, 冇拉手嘅。出咗房就唔拉手啊 ，okay? So that was my father. But I don't know, all this information that we get, would you like to, I don't know, would you have a husband like that? Never hold your hands. Never say he appreciates you. Never think you are the greatest woman in the world. That's asking a bit too much, huh? Exactly, no. Edwin say the right thing. No. Always praise the woman be what? You are the greatest woman in the world. Say it from your heart. Remember what I told you. Don't go home and say then, hey, you are the greatest woman in the world. She can tell you. Okay, what did you learn from弟子规class tonight? It's in the YouTube, I know. No, you go home with very sincere, you got everything, we call it sincerity. It's a golden saying, right? 诚, sincerity. You really mean it. And why not? This woman or this husband has put up with you, for so long. Okay, and why not show a little bit of appreciation? Now, it's not easy to keep a family. See, it's easy to be nice to a person who you only see once in a while. Isn't that? Now, but it's not easy if you have to live with this person on a day-to-day basis. But if you still can, you really love each other. Okay? And by the time you turn 89 or 99, maybe one day you'll still be walking on the beach holding each other's hand. And you don't have to worry about other people laughing at you. Okay? But even if you don't hold hands, does it mean that you love each other less? No. There are people who kept on telling the other person, I love you, I love you, I love you. Then in the end, they what? What happened? They get divorced. Okay, so don't just put it in our lips, you know. Do it by really caring, by really committing ourselves. Right? So we miss all these chances because we didn't really know what love was. This commitment, it seemed to be a big thing, you know. Hard to commit, right? Or didn't know how to value a marriage because we didn't learn, right? But after we learn, we know that marriage is a commitment. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of encouragement. Not courage. Courage means you have to work yourself up to a courage. 要鼓起勇气来面对婚姻啊，好像很恐怖是吗？为什么要鼓起勇气面对婚姻？应该是什么？鼓起爱心，鼓励这个美好的这个婚姻。It sounds much better, isn't it? So you just have to what? Add 2 alphabets in front of it. You care, you, instead of saying, yes, I'm going to be committed, I have the courage. Let's add 2 alphabets. Begin to and courage. Encourage the other person, okay? You care and you encourage. A lot of wonderful things can happen. My friend used to tell me, he said, before you criticize somebody, think about 3 things nice about the other person. And I used to say, cannot lah. I can't even think of 1 good thing about that person. He always said, think harder, think harder, think harder. Before you criticize him. I'm still not very good at that. I'm better at criticizing people. So I have to work harder on that. So before we criticize somebody, think about not 3 lah, okay, 1 good thing first. Say 1 good thing about the other person. Okay. Now, if you want to criticize the other person, that he is very what? What should we criticize others for? Or what criticism would we always give to other people? Is there any? Here, yeah, you. Yeah. Okay, you can do without a mic. No, if you were to want to give a comment on somebody, okay, okay, what is the 1 thing that you want to criticize somebody about? Okay, and what is that? Things that we don't want them to do, like not doing homework. Okay, okay, not doing homework, right? Okay, so next time you feel like why you're not doing your homework, think about 1 good thing that he did. Maybe yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, maybe last week. Say that, oh, you pick up your own clothes. 你把你的衣服拿起来。放在那个篮里面，哇，太棒了 ！Say things like this first, okay? 你今天把你的鞋子摆好也是可以的。Okay? So think about 1 nice things first, okay? Before we jump into it. Now I really love to criticize somebody for not preparing for a lesson, right? Because he's supposed to. So I really wanted to say, you are so incompetent. I have told you 2-3 days ago to prepare for the lesson. How come you cannot? But then I step one step back. He is very busy. And because it was a last minute kind of 2 days announcement for him, and he's not the kind of person who could jump up to a stage and start talking, giving lessons. Okay. So, moreover, I am back already in time. So I shouldn't scold him. I say, oh, okay, I know you're very busy. That's all right. I'll deliver the lecture. Don't worry. And then the other side, thank you. Okay. And then not only that he sighed a relief, he would what? Thank you. Thank you so much, teacher. See, for being so considerate. Okay? Instead of if I were to scold him, I tell you, you should do your preparation now. Not in the last minute. Every day you should be prepared. No soldier would prepare to fight a war every day, okay? But they got to prepare. So you see, you're a bad soldier. You're not a good staff. You never listen to me. You never learn anything from me. I see, make it so exaggerated. From a tiny thing, make it so exaggerating. Okay? So, and the funny thing was, if you ask why are we mad about, 90% of the time you don't remember. You don't remember what were that thing that made you so mad about. But you were mad. You were very angry. But you think, why was I so angry? Don't know. 想来想去都是做功课而已哦，不知就是这么真生气。Yes. You see, always. So you ask him, what are you so busy? You do others' work, so check his others' work. What did he do? 你做其他很忙啊，来看给妈咪看看你忙什么，你给他看嘛。妈咪我在看做数学啊，做数学哇太好了，来看看。Let him show you what other things that he did. Okay? So in the end, my mom is so smart, cannot cheat her. Some more, my mom didn't scold me, but she's very smart. 不忍气啊，最后don't let him just get away. Busy. No. You actually check. Oh, you're busy. What are you busy about? Check his work. Okay, is that good work? Did he produce good work in other things? If he did, 赞他，先赞他2句哈。原来你花这么多时间来怎么拼这个 Lego？ 哇，你花这么多时间来拼这个 Lego 啊！哇，这个 Lego 真的很像哎，你花了多少时间呢？花了2个小时，哇，花了2个小时做 Lego 啊，哇，这个很不错嘞哦。那怎么做的啊？他就okay? So actually ask him a little bit about it, okay? 这个 Lego 是不错啦，不过呢，你还是要做你的功课的。So you do put your step down, but you do praise what he did. What you call it, acknowledge what he did. Wasn't a bad and evil thing. Because everything he likes to do, you think is bad and evil, then he will not do the things that you want him to do. Because he also thinks you're bad and evil. So acknowledge what he did, acknowledge what he thinks was positive, but then you got to turn him back and say, okay, but you still have to try this first. Okay, so he will learn eventually, okay? But do not first put on the net and say, you see, you're always like this. Not always like this. 没有 always like this 我们是 always like this 他不是 always like this 是我们自己的啊。我们都活了这么老了，是不是？他才几岁，我们几岁？我们就是你今年45岁的话，你已经我了 always 小45年了。他 always 顶多他才几岁，才10岁，才10年，是不是 ？Compared to ourselves 他的 always 还是很短啊。So be a little bit more considerate. Okay, you smile more, you'll be interested in what he did more, what he's doing more. That's the important point. Be interested, okay? Really feel for the love. 你一定要给他觉得是很 温暖的，为他着想的，还有无私的啊。先不要想到 What if he always lied to me? He always hypocrite? 没有 always 啊，他 always 那是10多年而已。我们的 always 比他多一点啊。你just ask your mom, she'll tell you. Just ask your dad. Well, dad may not say too much, but just ask your mom. Mom, what is the one thing that you think I always do? That I never listen to you? Oh, I'm glad you asked. You should have asked me earlier. Try that, okay? Try, Mom, what is the one thing that I always do that upset you? Maybe you'll get the most honest opinion that nobody else dare to tell you, but she will. Okay, so yeah, try that again, okay? So with that, we'll finish. Oh yeah, announcement. Thank you. We're going to adjourn our class here, but next week, class will be adjourned because of the Hari Raya on the 8th, June the 8th, because of the Raya holiday, and then August the 8th. What did I say? Oh, I live in the past. Okay, and then a week after June, August. Why June? I love June. Yeah, a lot of things happen in June. And August 15, we are engaged in another activity called a course for the primary school teachers. There will be 160 primary school teachers. Maybe your children's primary school teachers will be here too. They're coming in here for a 3 days course, and we have to help out in the courses together. So our humble apology for missing you twice in August. That's why I didn't like August. I like June. It was a full moon. Okay, so well, enjoy your holiday and practice what we learned from here. Okay, thank you very much. Good night.